Hi everyone, welcome back to JL Aquatics. Here's a little clip of what this tank looked like before I had anything stocked in it. I currently have one male elephant ear beta in this tank. But in this video, I'm going to be adding cherry shrimp as well as a Nerite snail into that tank. I went to my local aquarium store, the fish tank, and did some looking around. They had some high quality cherry shrimp and a good looking Nerite snail, so I got them and took them back. Otherwise, here's some shots of some cool stuff I saw around the store. Here's a shot of one of the shrimp tanks. It had cherry and blue shrimp, and you can see some Nerite snails in there as well. At a local pet store, I also bought this fake artificial little piece. I'm not sure how temporary it's going to be, but I just wanted a hiding spot that the betta fish couldn't get into at all, and maybe the shrimp could use as a colony. So here's the current state of the tank. As you can see, it's completely cycled. There's a lot of algae growth. And we got these 6 shrimp here in the bag. They all still look great when I got back too. There was also a lot of algae growing on the dragonstone and along the sand. All the plants and the duckweed seem to be doing fine, except for the dwarf hairgrass in the front. It seems like it's melting down a little bit, but I'm gonna see if it'll come back and recover. So here's these shrimp acclimating. I left them in there for about 20 minutes, and then I put the Nerite snail in there as well to acclimate. I think the stripes on this snail are super cool, and he's a pretty decent size. As another hiding spot, I also bought a small piece of driftwood for these shrimp. I let it float until it sank, but I'll find a strategic place to put it eventually. I also got another food source while I was out for this betta fish. My other betta usually just eats pellets, but this betta is a little bit smaller right now, so I decided to go with flakes. I only took a little bit of algae out of the tank, mainly just to clean up the glass. Otherwise, it's just going to be a food source. But the whole point was really just to make the tank look nicer. So now that acclimation was over, I finally got to put these cherry shrimp into the tank. I just drained them all into a net and then let them swim out. Once they were in, the betta was pretty confused. He wasn't really sure if it was food or not, so he did chase some of them around, but the cherry shrimp seemed to be much faster than the betta. Now that it's been a couple days, the betta has chilled out, and the betta doesn't really bother the shrimp at all. There was no problem when I added in the Nerite snail. He barely even knew the Nerite snail was there. I've kept Nerite snails with bettas plenty of times, and there's never been an issue. I went ahead and turned off the light so that way these shrimp wouldn't freak out too much and they could kind of acclimate to their surroundings more. And after I did this, I added in the snail. I just drained the water, and then the snail ended up just sticking to the bag, so he ended up just sliding into the tank and he just slid to the bottom. I checked back on the snail a little bit later and he was moving around and was hiding on one of the rocks. And it's been a couple days. The snail hasn't had any trouble. He's just been eating algae and it's been going fine. I wanted to show off these filter blockers I got. This was not only for the 6-gallon, but also the 29. It's basically a silicone piece that floats up and down based on how much water is in the tank. So that way the duckweed doesn't get blown all over the tank by the filter. I also have one in the 6-gallon, but it's really not silicone. It's more just a plastic piece that floats up and down. It looks kind of like a bracket. Also, here's a shot of Shrimp King, the pretty high quality shrimp food I got. I'm still thinking about the placement of that artificial piece, as you can see. Not sure what to do with it yet, but I'll figure it out, and I'll let y'all know what I figure out what to do with the driftwood too. I think the shrimp and the snail were a really cool addition to the tank, especially how all the colors kind of collide together. And if you take a look there, one of the shrimp was already using that artificial piece as a hiding spot. So here's a current look at the tank as I zoom outward. I'll keep y'all updated on any changes I make. And I'll leave my other socials in the description where you can find more videos of my tanks. The rest of the footage is just the shrimp moving around the tank, shot to the Nerite snail, and how everything looks. I'm really happy on how this aquarium is turning out. Thanks again for watching. I'll see y'all in the next video, and be sure to subscribe to stay updated.